So it's been a whole week since Donald Trump was elected president. You're not dreaming. This is not a nightmare. This is reality. Anybody who is still feeling pain, fear, sadness, anger, desperation, devastation, any sort of negative feelings about what has happened, feel those feelings because your feelings are fucking valid. Anybody who tells you that you're being melodramatic or that you're throwing a tantrum can like fuck right off because like your feelings are valid and they have no idea where you're coming from. The night it happened, last Tuesday, I was hysterical for hours. I called my mother and it ended in both of us in tears. She kept trying to reassure me though, because she kept saying things like, we're gonna be okay, you'll be okay, you have me, you have your dad, you have your sister, we're gonna be fine because, and I had to interject, Mom, because we're white. Because we're white, Mom, that's why we're gonna be okay. And that is the sad truth, and it shouldn't be. This isn't normal. As a woman, I am afraid of what is going to happen. However, I am a straight, white, cisgendered woman that lives in one of the most progressive cities in the entire country. I am lucky that my state stands up for the marginalized. I am lucky that I have 2 female senators and a gay mayor. I am lucky that one of the city council members that is the most outspoken is a fucking socialist woman, okay? I am lucky that my state has these people, has these representatives for me. So I will never know the fear that a person of color knows walking down the street. I will never know the fear that an LGBT person will know walking down the street, especially in states that are so vehemently red. I live in a real blue state, okay? It's real blue. So I've spent the week probably posting more things on Facebook than I should have, but what I've learned is how the media, how journalism has failed us. I saw a website the other day that basically broke down the algorithm that Facebook used to show different news stories to liberals and to conservatives. And the differences in those articles, in the way that the stories were skewed, are so astounding and horrifying. As somebody who took 6 years of journalism in high school and in college, went to state hearings for House bills and participated in the establishment, I am very disheartened at the state of journalism these days. I am very disheartened at the fact that people don't know what is truthful and what isn't. There's so many websites out there that say that they're truthful, that boast about telling the truth, and yet they're spitting out complete and total bullshit. John Oliver, again, fucking dropping the truths. It was 38% of conservative news stories had false information. 19% of liberal news stories had false information, so not great. The media spent way too long treating Trump as a joke. They spent way too long not taking him seriously, and they finally decided to start checking his facts. They spent way too long just giving him free media coverage when they shouldn't have. But that is all in the past. This is things that should have been different, and we cannot change now. We can demand that things change in the future, which is what this video is about. What the fuck can we do now? Just in the last week, a friend of mine, her boyfriend who is Hispanic, was told to go back to Mexico. This is in Seattle. A swastika was painted on the side of a lamppost in Seattle. All around the country, young women, their hijabs were ripped off their heads and they were afraid to wear them again. Swastikas and hate speech were spray painted on the side of businesses owned by people of color. This is already happening. The amount of hate that has been unleashed because of the normalization of Donald Trump is already happening, and we can't stand for it. Protests have been happening, for the most part, very peaceful. A group of hundreds of high school students walked out of classes yesterday in Seattle and walked on the street. Signs, they were organized, they were saying the most intelligent and poignant things, and it made me so happy to see them getting involved because I hadn't even thought about teenagers before yesterday, like how it's been affecting them, because this is their future. This is the rest of their lives that is being set for them because of ignorance, and they had no power to change it. I am an advocate for lowering the voting age to 16, but that's another video. Keep protesting. Keep protesting. Keep calling your representatives, going to their offices, write them letters, donate to places that need it. ACLU, SPLC, Planned Parenthood, Trevor Project. I will link several below because this is what needs to keep happening, and it has taken a disaster for us to actually like fucking jump on it and pitch in and like unite. But besides fighting and getting involved in the system, the thing that I think is gonna be the hardest for us white people, I'm talking to you now, we all have those aunts and uncles and cousins and people on Facebook that we would rather not engage with in conversation about politics. We have to. Now, there are two kinds of people that voted for Donald Trump. There are the racist, misogynist, xenophobes that are terrifying and cannot be reasoned with by like basic conversation. And then there are those people who maybe voted for him for other reasons. Maybe economic reasons, maybe they wanted a big change, maybe they just really hated Hillary. Any other year, that would have been a valid reason, but this year it's fucking bullshit. Because you may not be a racist, misogynist, xenophobe, but you condoned his actions. You said, he's acceptable to be president. Those are the people that we cannot distance ourselves from even more, because we're living in two completely different universes in this country right now. So what we need to do is actually have those hard conversations. Tell people where we're coming from. Tell them our reality, our truth. I actually had a very civil conversation in the Facebook comments yesterday, in a post on my Facebook page. And a lot of my friends stepped up and gave their perspective, gave their opinions. A friend of mine who has a trans daughter spoke about all the fears that she has. A friend of mine who actually did volunteer for the Senate when she was in the 8th grade told them how hard it was to actually get involved and how few women were there. These are the kinds of conversations we need to keep having, and they're gonna be uncomfortable. They're gonna be really uncomfortable. I don't necessarily condone drinking more, but if you live in any of the 4 states that legalized marijuana last week, I suggest you take it up now because you're gonna fucking need it. Besides weed legalization, I've been finding solace in the other good things that happened. More women joined Congress, and all of them being women of color. And Oregon elected the first openly LGBT governor, bisexual woman who's been out since the 90s. That's awesome. Try and break up the anger and the sadness in your day with the good things that did happen. So while being sad and being angry is valid, for a lot of people it's debilitating and it doesn't make you do anything. So to get yourself out of bed, to get yourself on your feet, take a kickboxing class, go to a punk show, break something, start running, scream at the top of your lungs, have really loud sex. Last Wednesday, when all this shit went down, my roommate and I had a couple friends over and we made pizza and watched Independence Day, and I haven't seen that movie in a long time. The good one from 1996 with Jeff Goldblum and Will Smith. And that movie has never resonated with me as much as it did last week. Granted, Will Smith is fighting aliens, but we really are in two different worlds in this country. We are so divided right now. And that's crazy. But in the words of the fictional President Whitmore, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. We're gonna live on and we're gonna survive. We just have to work for it. That last bit he didn't say. That last bit was me. I have no song of the day today because I have an entire playlist of songs that I made last week called Holy Shit. It's made up of mostly like angry punk music and like menacing hip hop. So there's a lot of Killer Mike and Run the Jewels and like Fugazi. Please enjoy if you feel the need to. It's really good running music, by the way. Really good running music. Not that I run, but I can imagine it would be good for running. I'm ashamed of our country, and I'm sorry we failed you. Here's some lovely Joe Biden memes to make you smile.